So Chris Christie is a deeply, deeply conservative guy. Now, sometimes people forget that, particularly because he's running for president in the Republican primary, and he's made like the core of his campaign dumping on Trump 24/7. And look, I respect it because somebody's got to go out there and tell the truth about Trump from within the Republican Party. Christie's doing that. He's only at like 3% in the polls. To be fair, I think in New Hampshire he's doing a lot better. I think he's in like second or third place in the polls in New Hampshire because it's northeastern Republicans. They're more moderate, so more relatively anti-Trump than Republicans in the South, for example, or the Midwest. But anyway, somebody's got to do it. It's a dirty job. Somebody's got to do it. So he's out there doing that. But again, he's very conservative. Like, he will argue for, he'll fearmonger about the debt and the deficit. He'll talk about entitlement, Social Security, and Medicare, and act like we got to cut them. He's in favor of cutting more taxes for corporations and for the wealthy. He's a very, very hawkish on foreign policy. Like, down the line, very conservative. That's who he is. Every now and then, though, he will stun you. This is one of those instances right here. So he's going to be asked a question about trans issues, and listen to his reaction.
How far would you go on this? Would you ban gender-affirming care for young people?
No, I wouldn't do that. Again, this is inconsistent with the point I just made. I want parents to be in charge of taking care of their children. I want parents to be in charge of making those decisions for minors. I don't want governors in some capital making those decisions. I want mothers and fathers who love their children, understand them, and have a greater stake in them than anyone to be making those decisions.
Look, got to keep it real. In a Republican primary, this question is supposed to be a layup in the other direction. Hey, should you ban gender-affirming care for minors? I would think every other Republican, except, wait, who was the one? Was it Asa Hutchinson or was it Doug Burgum? I think it was Asa Hutchinson vetoed a bill to do this in his state of Arkansas. So, okay, I guess there's two. Two Republicans would say no. The rest of them would be like, absolutely ban it for minors. Trump was asked this from Megyn Kelly. Even he was like, yeah, I would do that. Now, look, Chris Christie, on other trans issues, he says the thing you would expect him to say, right? Whether it's sports or I think even bathrooms or whatever, there's a number of issues where he says the thing you would expect a Republican to say. But on this one, he's like, no. Now, again, the reasoning is interesting because his reasoning is, hey, I would be a hypocrite to my conservative values if I didn't invoke parents' rights for this line of argument too. Because just 7.5 seconds ago, all the Republicans were talking about parents' rights when it comes to, the topics of discussion and education in schools. Like, hey, if the parents chime in and say, I don't want you teaching that to my kid, they have every right. It's the parents' choice, parents' rights. They're in charge. The buck stops with them. The school can't override them. What are you talking about? Like, that was the line of argument. And so what Chris Christie is saying is, hey, if you're a conservative, you believe in small government. You believe in, as much as possible, leaving the decisions up to the individuals. Well, in this instance, if I'm being consistent with that standard, well, I would say leave it up to the parents, leave it up to the families, leave it up to them in consultation with a doctor or an expert on the issue. Who am I, as a governor, to interject, to step in and say, I disagree, I'll ban this? He would look at that and say, that's actually authoritarian. That's big government. I don't want big government. So, it goes to show you how when you apply standards politically, sometimes it makes for strange bedfellows, right? And here, all he's doing is applying his parents' rights standard in the area of trans kids as well. But I guarantee you, this is something the right will lose their mind over. I mean, I don't know if any of them even heard him say this because not many people are following his campaign on the right, but they would be like, Jesus Christ, this Chris Christie's a communist now or something like that, right? So I don't know. I find this clip very, very interesting. Homie is not afraid to buck orthodoxy from time to time. It's just a shame that he's so wrong on so many issues, or else he'd be a really, really interesting guy. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.